Lakeland, you really, it's really independent. Welcome to the show. Let's make a movie.
Welcome to Real Independent, the podcast where we talk to local filmmakers in the Central Florida area about what they do and the struggles that they face and the successes that they have. And today we have a friend of mine. Her name is Grace. Grace, welcome.
Hi, Marty. I'm happy to be here.
And can you tell us a little bit about who you are? Tell our audience like what you do, what's your experience in the film industry, or any something about yourself.
Definitely. So I'm Grace Brower. I have a nonprofit for foster youth, former foster youth, to spread awareness around foster youth. And I got a film degree from UCF back in 2019 and worked in the film industry for years. I had some life changes, moved away from the film industry, but my heart has always really been in making movies, creating. And so I've kind of found a way to join all my passions, spreading awareness for foster kids, and then also making a movie. So, yeah.
And what's the favorite thing to do in the film industry? What's the role that you like to do the most?
Well, I really fell in love on set with costuming and wardrobe and getting to use this skill I learned as a kid from my Nana, like sewing in a creative way. I've always liked being able to build something 3D. I'm not so much of a 2D minded person. I'm more of a put my hands on it and build it type person. So costuming, production design.
Nice. And a lot of schools don't teach that.
No, it's kind of a skill that you have to come in with and then find your place in it. There's, I know UCF definitely didn't have a costuming wardrobe class. You kind of, if you were someone who could do that, you were kind of a commodity. They're like, wait, no, I need you to sew me a cape, like sew me something cool. A lot of it focuses on the technical elements of, in theory, filmmaking, cinematography, production, stuff like that. Not so much
on the art part, right?
Right.
And are you working on any special projects right now?
I am. Right now I'm working on Project ACE documentary. It is a part of my Project ACE nonprofit, but it is focused on spreading awareness of not only what we're doing for the foster care community, what other people's experiences in the foster care system have been so far. And so Project ACE documentary is in the works right now. We're actively looking for people to interview, people that have stories to share, because we want to be a platform to help people share stories.
And what inspired you to do this?
So I went through the system myself growing up. I was in and out of the system until I was adopted at 10. And throughout my life, I never really realized how much my experiences in foster care and how my adverse childhood experiences that I had gone through really like followed me my entire life. And once I was, 21, 22, and I realized, oh, all of that isn't just baggage in the back of my brain. That's stuff that's actively affecting me.
It's there, still there.
It's been there. It's going to be there. I need to learn how to work with it. I realize there's a lot of other people going through that too. So that really inspired me with my background to get out there and spread awareness.
And what was that moment that said, I got to do this?
It was a really weird time in my life. I had recently been in a major car accident, and but I'm the type of person that I don't let that get me down. I was in physical therapy and stuff, but I was still working on sets. So I was on a courtroom TV show set in Kentucky, and
Wow.
I
Nice
was working
place.
in wardrobe.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was one of my favorite jobs. And I was working with a makeup artist, my good friend Kim, who was also adopted. So I connected with her over that. And, we're about 2.5 months into this set and working on this production when we have a defendant come on the show, and her story is around or has to do with her experience in foster care. And that kind of got people talking on set. And all of a sudden I realized, everyone comes to the wardrobe makeup room, all the producers, the field producers. Ends up 2 of the field producers on that set also had been in foster care. And we had all been working very closely together for all this time. And I only knew that Kim had been adopted. That is the only person it had really come up with. And that's when I went, oh my gosh, there's so many of us out there, but we just don't talk about it because it's stigmatized.
Yes.
And this idea just popped in my brain, and I went, we need to share this somehow on a platform that people are going to pay attention and realize that it's something we need to be talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great success stories, like what was the name on the gymnast? I forget her name.
Oh, Simone Biles.
Yeah, Simone Biles.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, there's so much greatness in the system and so many amazing kids, and they're just a couple of like wrong things happening completely out of their control, away from a completely different life, whether that be a positive thing or a negative thing.
Yep.
And want to make it less of a luck thing and more of a, you are more likely to succeed, improving those statistics that really bog kids that have been through the system down.
Is it? There's always like good stories and bad stories, in all the situations. But how do you select which stories to tell?
So a lot of our scouting so far has been just meeting people. I want to say every single event that I have spoken at, whether it's related to women in business, to actually being a foster care gala, I have had someone come up to me after and go, I was in the foster care system. I aged out of foster care. Every single one, it made me realize that, first off, all the stories are out there. A lot of them come to me. And once I find someone who has a story, if we stay in contact, because contact is a two-way street, we will start formulating, like, what are the themes of your story? What are the things that, we can, themes of the story, like, did you end in adoption, and did you have generational trauma? Are you breaking generational trauma? The health crisis related to adverse childhood experiences, all these themes that people can kind of fit into. And if they fit into one of those themes, I will, definitely pursue them as a topic. We also have a contact sheet on our website for people to reach out if they have a story to tell. And I think every story is worth telling. So it's really about just staying in contact, and then usually we'll set up an interview time at that point.
So, how does it feel to tell your story on camera, or help others tell their story on camera?
Well,
being someone who's always kind of been behind the camera, it's definitely been a learning process, learning how to speak in front of the camera. But I'm learning that that's honestly a really good experience to be having, because that's what all my interviewees are going through too. They're not used to being in front of a camera either. They're telling a raw story. So I have to be able to do it so that they are also comfortable doing that same thing. And that really, it feels really empowering to be able to share my story, to have my story heard, and then to, based on that, get other people's story heard.
And have you faced any big challenges during this process?
100% there have been challenges in this whole process. One, I'm running a nonprofit and a documentary series at one time, but I like to keep things going constantly. I'm always juggling a bunch of stuff. I think a lot of us creatives really are.
Yeah, it's hard to stay still.
It really is.
Yes.
Like, I need to be going. But that is like my superpower ultimately. And the biggest challenge, I think, is there's a lot of really dark things that we talk about in this documentary series. But getting past the dark things to the more joyful things, that's kind of the stage I'm in now, and that's been pretty difficult, is looking past all the dark, sad, realities of the system, and but there's also a lot of really beautiful things that come out of the system as well.
In what way the community has supported your project?
My community has been absolutely amazing. From the friend who helped me formulate this, my friend Kim from the courtroom TV show that I was working on years ago, to when I actually created the project. My close-knit community has been an immense help and a support, and just making sure that I actually go out and get it and keeping me energized. But then my actual community, I'm from a rural town in Central Florida, Sebring, Florida, and they have just with open arms been so supportive. Our local Chamber of Commerce is always sharing things about our production and is encouraging us to keep going. They give us a lot of credibility, and I'm just so grateful for our community ultimately for everything that they're doing to support us.
So you're living in a small town in the heart of Central Florida.
Yes.
Like that central south part, right?
Yeah, we like to call ourselves Rio, Florida, but we're all real Florida. Little small town, a little south of Orlando, but you would never guess it. There's a film community there too.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, I think there's a film community everywhere in Central Florida. It's just a matter of resources sometimes and the network.
100%.
Sometimes we like to be active all the time, but maybe we don't spend the time on reaching out and asking for help from other creators.
Right. And you never know when you're going to find someone who is the exact match that you need for your project. And Central Florida needs to just be talking with each other. Our rural areas and our filmmakers need to be talking with I was part of the Orlando film community as well at some point. So we need to be communicating with each other to better everyone.
Yeah, and going back to the topic, and what do you think are the biggest misconceptions about adoption?
There's plenty of them. It's something that's heavily stigmatized. I will say one of the biggest misconceptions is that adoption isn't always a smooth process. You see it in movies and TV shows, and you see, oh, this child was chosen, and I think Annie, the movie and play,
Yep.
Child was chosen, down on her luck, and then all of a sudden she is in a beautiful mansion and living the high life and everything's okay and happy ending. That isn't usually the reality. The reality can be just as beautiful, but usually it's people like you and me, like people relatable, our neighbors that are the people adopting children, families that can't conceive on their own that are adopting children. It's a huge misconception that every step of the process is happy. It's a huge misconception that once adoption happens and is finalized, that everyone's happy. Like, no, there's still a lot of trauma that needs to be addressed with the child that's adopted. I'd say those were the biggest misconceptions, is that it's all happy and rainbows as soon as the adoption goes through. It is a lifelong process for both the adoptees and the parents of the adoptee.
Yeah, there's very many different like things that happen for that to happen. Like some it's because of family needs, cannot have kids, or there's some bad situations happening in the kids' homes that they need to be taken away. There's so many things that leads to that. Are there any ways that like emotional changes that people go through during the adoption process? The things that people might not know about that goes through that.
So as a child who was adopted, yes, and I think we need to be talking about these emotional layers that are happening. It's like in Shrek, you got to peel back the layers of the onion. Right.
Yes.
So, well, the first layer of the onion is, brittle and might, it kind of falls off with time, ultimately. In the beginning, every child's different. It can be very difficult to see what's actually going on underneath the surface. A lot of kids act out of shock or in shock, so they'll seem like they're fine, but under the surface, things are bubbling up really bad. And I think when thinking about emotional layers, I like to think of like multiple truths being able to be true at the same time, really. And in this case, the truths are the foster care system is and the adoption system are incredibly complex systems with a lot of complex emotions. But at the same time, it can be equally as complexly beautiful. A child who is adopted on paper, is clearly not related to the person who is adopting them in a lot of cases.
Yep.
But that other truth is that child, in a lot of cases, is loved just as much as, and possibly in different ways, is loved just as much as a biological child would be. And there's, going back to misconceptions, sometimes misconceptions like, oh, how could you possibly love this child as if they're your own? Well, they're just family.
Yeah, it's different, but it's the same love.
It is. And, I had an interviewee who talked on this, and it really put things in perspective for me in a way I didn't even know I needed to have put in perspective. Like, she adopted 2 children because she was not able to give birth herself, and it was a long journey for her. Those children, it doesn't matter that the color of their skin is different. They are one unit, one family. That is her daughter, that is her son. It doesn't matter that they were adopted. And so again, those 2 truths, like, yeah, they might not be biological. It might be clear they're not biologically related. That can exist. So can that equal amount of love, ultimately.
And how do you think this process is your project addressing like the way that people outside those families see the adoption process, or those families that you were talking about?
100%. Project ACE is dedicated to spreading awareness of all different types of stories and all the different types of complexities of these stories around the system. We aren't just interviewing people that were formerly in foster care, we're interviewing people that were adopted out of the system, kids that were adopted and then went back into the system, people that grew up with foster siblings that families thought were going to become part of their family, but then the state took that foster sibling away and they couldn't adopt. We're looking for all these types of stories to share and show that there's just such a wide variety of experiences happening in the system. And the one thing that connects them all is adverse childhood experiences happened that got them there, and those have lifelong effects ultimately.
And they're all different. And how long have you been working on this project so far?
Well, I had the idea back in 2021, and the opportunity arose in 2023 to actually run with it. So I started the early processes in 2023. I really kickstarted it in 2024. And what started as this idea to just be a documentary series also turned into an actual fully operational nonprofit organization that is
Wow.
giving back to foster youth.
Nice.
So the documentary will follow not just the stories and the awareness and the themes of the foster care system, but also what organizations are doing to support foster care system.
And do you think you're nearing the conclusion of your filming, or do you think that there's so much more to still
There's
do?
so much more to do, Marty. So much more. It is overwhelming how much more there is to do, because it is supposed to be a documentary series. It is intended to be an ongoing project.
So series 2, series 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, we will see. I honestly am thinking in a different way, more of I'm starting here in Florida, and then I want to cover state by state systems. So
Wow.
there's so many. I don't know what the limit will ultimately be. If and when we're manifesting it, we are fully funded off the ground. The intent is to travel all around the country, because not only are there differences in, a case-by-case basis of people in the system, state by state, the foster care system, adoption system are handled differently.
So that's where you see this project going, like going to different states and growing and expanding the footprint of the project.
Correct. 100%. And I hope to, in that process, open other chapters of Project ACE, of the actual nonprofit. But the documentary, I want it to be a statewide thing. Heck, my story is an international story. I'll go to France. My sister was adopted by another side of our family in France. I think big. I dream big. I get overwhelmed in my big thoughts sometimes, but
it's a good goal to have, because if you don't try to do it, then it's not going to happen.
exactly.
Yep.
That's I like how you think, Marty.
Yeah. Do you like horror films?
Oh, I love horror films.
I'm a horror film director, so I like have big films. Maybe you've seen one of them. It's Blood on the Roof,
I've not seen Blood on the Roof.
Blood on the Floor.
I have not seen. Did it drip from the roof?
Well, in the first one, yes. And the second one, there's a 5-minute scene where there's a car oozing blood from the muffler for 5 minutes.
Okay. Is it like a really slow, dramatic, experimental?
No, it's blood and gory and a lot of blood. It's like 45 minutes of just gore.
Well, I've done most of my work on movies, like independent movies in horror, so I'm all about fake blood.
Ah, and what is
More fake blood, the better.
what's your favorite horror film?
I have to think about that.
One that
Because
you
it's-
watch a couple of times, or it's like, oh my god, that was so scary.
Oh, well, see, movies that I rewatch are usually the ones I didn't like, so I can rewatch them and see what I didn't like.
critique
about
them?
Yeah, and then also sometimes, because like some of the movies I don't like, the modern ones, are ones that people like really love, and I just will rewatch them to be like, what am I not getting about this?
Yeah,
but-
why did they like it so much?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite horror movie to date has to be, oh geez, I can't even.
What kind of horror do you like?
I really like super bloody and gory. Oh, Evil Dead. I love the
Oh,
Evil Dead
the
movies.
original one.
Yeah. Yeah, original, the second remake. I love Army of Darkness.
The last one, I was not too fan of it.
It was okay. You
Yeah.
know, it was a it's just, what I liked is Ash versus the Evil Dead when they took it to a TV show. And
Yeah, the first season was really good.
it was a lot of fun, and I'm a big fan of Sam Raimi and some of those films, and I also love found footage, but I'm more about the blood and gore and the cool effects.
Yep,
That's what I'm
especially because the original one, you had to be really creative to get that movie done.
They really did, and apparently that set was. I've complained about some set conditions I've been on in the horror industry because, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes horror movies, you're in the middle of Maine winter with
They have to be done.
Yeah, you have
That's
to
the
get
goal.
out there. You got to do it. It's freezing cold, but you got to make it.
Yep.
That's what everyone's there for. Those conditions were apparently really bad for the first one, but if their track record, everyone came back. Like Ash, he's still Ash.
Yeah.
He kept
That's
making
what
movies.
he gets paid the most money for. Use that character over and over again. It goes to,
Yep.
to cons and trade shows. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is his brand, and I would swoon if I met him. Not gonna lie, because he's Ash from The Evil Dead.
Yep. Hopefully he's like, is he carrying the chainsaw?
Yeah, like let me see the chainsaw arm.
And what do you learn as a filmmaker that you'll carry into your future projects?
I think the biggest thing I've learned in making films, from any short films to little experimental things I did in college to now, is it takes time. And as a creative, sometimes I like that instant gratification of like, oh, I made it, and then 2 days later it's ready. That's not the case in the film industry. It's not the case with a big project. It can take a decade to make a project happen.
Especially documentaries.
100%, to get all the right stories, to get all the right footage.
And
to
the
get,
research. Yep.
Yep. And things change too. The things are constantly changing in the foster care system, state by state. It takes time, and I need patience, and that was what I would share to everyone: is have patience and be consistent, and
It's a
it'll get made.
marathon, not a sprint.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to waste all your energy on the first 100 feet, and then the rest of the marathon you're
Yep. Then you don't get to the finish line.
yeah.
Yep. And it's a lot of waste, not just time, but effort and people's resources and money. And yeah. And if people want to connect with your project and follow your journey, how can they do that?
So you can follow our social media for Project ACE on Instagram at projecta.c.e. Or you can follow us on Facebook, Project ACE. Our videos will be released on the YouTube platform as of now until we figure out distribution from there. But those are kind of the platforms we're on. And you can follow me personally as a filmmaker, and all the things that I do at Frosty Grace.
So, Grace, now it's time for our section Rapid Fire. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and then you just answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't think it too much. Keep it short, concise, and here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
One word to describe the film.
Empowering.
What's one thing you learned about yourself in this process?
I have a lot of work to do on myself.
And biggest myth about adoption?
That it's all rainbows and candy and stars and giggles.
And one word that describes adoption for you. One word.
Complicated.
And then one snack that you go to when you're editing.
Gushers. Tropical gushers.
Juicy.
Oh yeah.
Most unexpected challenge during filming.
Sound guy not showing up.
Song that will be perfect for the end credits. It's the final.
All I can think of right now is elevator music, and that's not it, but that's what's happening in my head right now.
And if this documentary was a book, what will the title be?
Project ACE.
What is the documentary you watched the most?
That's a good question. I would say something true crime.
Oh yes, those are fun.
Real life.
Especially because
horror.
they're kind of related. Yeah, related. Yeah, horrific. And dream narrator voice. Somebody you would like to have like in a documentary in your future projects.
Christian Bale. He's got a good voice. He's Bat.
Yeah. Early morning or late night sets.
Late night.
So, what is the biggest surprise during filming that you have encountered?
How much I relate to every single type of story that comes in.
So you're like in the set and it's like, oh, that kind of sounds like me. I can relate to that character.
It makes me think about my own situation, and it puts things in perspective for me a lot.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah. Not mine. Mine always related to blood.
It's pretty simple. Like, blood is simple. It's straightforward. It's there.
Yeah, keep it simple. That's my motto.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Grace, for being with us here in Real Independent. Hope you had a good time with us, and I was really happy that you were here and sharing your story and your project with us and our audience. So hopefully we can chat a little bit more about this when it's a little bit more far along, and we can see some of the footage.
Yeah, I would love to. I gave your manager a little promo that we've put together, but it was absolutely amazing to be here. Happy to talk with you guys anytime. I'd love to shake your hand, Marty.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, guys, and I'll see you next time at Real Independent.
Woo!
So yeah. You have the same color hair as Annie.
I do. I think it might have been a subconscious thing that I might have done, going the red hair route. And Wendy, too.
I thought you were talking about it just because the color. Yeah, they got the same.
Grab your slate, let's
it
make
must
it
be a
dent. It's the
subconscious
Purple
thing.
Director on Real Independent. Welcome to the show. Let's make a movie.